Who is he who overcomes the world but he who believes that Jesus is the Son of God? And what is the victory that has overcome the world? It is our faith in Jesus Christ. For everyone who has been born of God overcomes the world. If you're an overcomer in Christ, you're a conqueror. If you're a conqueror, you're an overcomer in Christ. This is our seventh and final promise to the church. He says, the one who conquers, I will grant him to sit with me on my throne, as I also conquered and sat down with my Father on his throne. Despite the sorrows that characterize the church, those who overcome are granted the right to sit with him on his throne, much the same way that he overcame and is now seated with his Father on his throne. Hebrews 1:3 underscore the completion of this redemptive work. Now, while his work continues being seated at the right hand of the Father, signified both rest and honor. This is precisely what Christ promises to the church at Laodicea, and to all believers by extension, that in due time and through God's providence, that they too will be granted a place of honor and rest. However, this rest does not mean inactivity. The Jewish concept of the Sabbath never suggested stopping work just to relax. Instead, it was about stepping away from the daily grind of everyday work and routine to seek after God, making it a day of true rest. Likewise, the heavenly Sabbath isn't about us doing a bunch of nothing or endlessly drifting away through heaven as a cloud potatoes, stringing our little harps with halos to boot either. Rather, it is an eternal separation from all our striving and all our struggles we face now, not an absence of the meaningful and glorious work God will have for us. Now, one last point about the promises to the church at Laodicea and to the rest of us is the amazing offer from the Lord, inviting those who overcome to share his throne as members of God's family. You and I are members of God's family. This acknowledges their status through Christ as heirs of God and co-heirs with Christ, sharing in everything that belongs to Christ because of his unique role as the Father's uniquely begotten Son. The full meaning of being invited to sit with Christ on his throne goes way beyond what you or I can even possibly imagine. Paul, who briefly saw this in heaven in 2 Corinthians 12, said that what he saw was impossible to describe in human language. Only Christ can offer the wealth, the clothing, and healing needed. His voice encourages Laodicea and the rest of us to accept what he gives. He comes, he stands, and he knocks. He calls out, and as the origin of creation, his authority is clear. Now, the real issue is whether Laodicea or perhaps any one of us will open the door to welcome him once more, as a true remedy for lukewarmness is inviting the excluded Christ back in.